Alhamdulillah, wassalatu wassalamu ala rasulillah, amma ba'd. Inshallah, in this month, in these final few days of this month, we find that all of the Muslims are awaiting the coming of, some people refer to it as the guest, some people refer to it as the host. That host, which is known as Ramadan, that comes with so many gifts, so many bounties. Allah chose various different times and various different places, and He gave them a special excellence and a special place. So for instance, أَحَبُّ الْبِلَادِ إِلَى اللَّهِ مَسَاجِدُهَا, the most favored places to Allah, or in the sight of Allah, from the whole world, are the masajid. And that we also know that Mecca is the most beloved place on the whole earth to Allah. Likewise, Allah has favored certain times, and from those times is Ramadan. If we were to think about the whole Quran, have you ever heard the name of any month mentioned in the Quran except Ramadan? You haven't, and you won't find the name of a specific month except the month of Ramadan. It is so special that Allah decided to mention it by name. We could go into talking about the fada'il, the virtues of Ramadan to begin with. We could talk about this issue from many different angles. The approach that I'm going to take in these two lectures is today is going to be a reminder, first and foremost, for myself and for my brothers and sisters who are here. This is going to be a reminder of the mindset that we're meant to have before we receive Ramadan. Why is that? Because before you get into the mindset, you're not actually ready for that time that Allah has blessed. And if you're not ready, then you won't be able to take the gifts that Allah is offering to you in that month. So you're going to lose out. So that's why it's important. As Sohail mentioned, we're trying to get into the mindset of Ramadan. Now when we studied fiqh, we studied the ahkam that Allah has legislated in His book and upon the tongue of the Prophet ﷺ. We studied it in two different ways. We studied it one way from the books of the ulama, the words of men, scholars, who were extracting from the book of Allah and from the sunnah of the Messenger ﷺ. And then we studied the same issues from another way. We studied it from books of hadith. And I tell you, there is a delight when you read the hadith of the Prophet ﷺ that you will never taste, a sweetness that you will never taste in the books of fiqh. Do you know why? I remember the days we used to sit, and when reading the hadith, because when you read a book, it's like you're actually there. It was as if you were witnessing what was happening. It is as if you were witnessing the Prophet ﷺ and his companions. You were there with them. Because you lose yourself inside that book, inside the narrations. The delight that comes across to the heart due to that cannot be matched. The same ilm, but with one great difference. The difference is Allah sent down wahi, revelation. That wahi is Quran and Sunnah. So when we go back to the wahi itself, the revelation, we are going back and we are getting closer to Allah because Allah sent that revelation. That is from Him. The Prophet ﷺ didn't speak of his own desires. It was a revelation revealed to him, as in Surah An-Najm. وَمَا يَنْطِقُ عَنِ الْهَوَىٰ إِنْ هُوَ إِلَّا وَحْيٌ يُوحَىٰ. So, when I was preparing for this dars, the way I approached it was not perhaps the way of the fuqaha. I left that, perhaps we will look at those issues in the second lecture. This issue this dars is going to be looking at Ramadan, getting us into the mindset of Ramadan. What did the Prophet ﷺ say about Ramadan? How should we approach this month that Allah has blessed? And we're going to look at that from the words of the Prophet ﷺ himself. Because I believe, and I felt this myself, when I was preparing and I was reading all the narrations and the different versions of the narrations, many times you find the same thing said in the various different books of hadith, various different narrations. One companion says it this way, one companion says it the other way. I found reading them over and over and over again, finding similar wordings, same narration, similar wordings. Keep reading them over. It gives a delight to the heart. It doesn't become boring, but rather, because this is revelation, this is the words of the Prophet ﷺ. All of them giving you one slight extra meaning, extra word here and there. It gave me something else. So I want to share that with you, inshallah. So the first thing, because we have a limited time, the first thing that we should know is that the Prophet ﷺ said in a famous hadith, which is reported in Bukhari and Muslim, but the wordings are slightly different. We're going to start with the wording of Sahih Muslim. Prophet ﷺ says, when Ramadan comes, فُتِحَتْ أَبْوَابُ الْجَنَّةِ. In the riwayah of Bukhari, it says futihat. There's a difference of a shadda, but the difference in meaning is great. Futihat is like the doors of Jannah are flung open. If you say futihat, it just means open. But in this riwayah of Muslim, it says futihat. Yani Ramadan, as soon as it comes, Allah flings open the doors of Jannah. Not only that, وَغُلِّقَتْ أَبْوَابُ النَّارِ. And the doors of an-nar, of the hellfire, are locked shut tightly. It's not just closing them, it's locking them shut. There's an emphasis on this meaning. Then the Prophet ﷺ goes on to say, وَصُفِّدَتْ الشَّيَاطِينَ. Different wordings meaning the same thing, saying the shayateen, the greater shayateen, Iblis himself, and those who are close to him, the ones who cause most of the wiswas amongst the people, most of the evils amongst people, those shayateen are locked up and chained up, and they can't do what they used to do outside of Ramadan. Prophet ﷺ, in the riwayah of Tirmidhi, of this same narration, adds to this, every day of Ramadan, there is a caller that calls up. He calls out and he says, Ya baghi al-khayr. O you who wants good, wants to attain the good that Allah has placed in this month, aqbil, come forward. Ya baghi al-shar. Then the narration goes on, Ya baghi al-shar. The one who wants evil in this month, then withhold, go back, go away, refrain. Then the Prophet ﷺ goes on in the riwayah of Tirmidhi, he says, وَلِلَّهِ أُتَقَى مِنَ النَّارِ وَذَلِكَ كُلُّ لَيْلَةٍ. Allah has people, He frees from the hellfire, and that is every night of Ramadan. The riwayah of Nisa'i and Ahmad add to this meaning. At the end of the hadith, or the riwayah of Nisa'i and Ahmad, it says, in Ramadan, there is a night that is equivalent to 1,000 nights, Laylatul Qadr. Then the Prophet ﷺ says, the one who is forbidden or does not attain that, then he is truly deprived. The one's deprived of that night, deprived of the goodness therein, then he is the one who is truly deprived. So this is the beginning. The Prophet ﷺ telling us this good news. The doors of Jannah are open. All the blessings are coming down from Jannah. They're open. All you have to do is step through. The doors of the hellfire are closed. The shayateen are locked up. There's an angel calling out for you. He's hastening you. He's encouraging you. Come, do good. Step forth. If you want to do some good, this is the time and the place to do it right now. Don't even blink for a moment and waste that moment. Come and do it. And then also look for that special night. For if you miss it, then you are truly deprived. So don't deprive yourself of this good.